A day trip to Leading Tickle and Bearhead Lookout, guaranteed to be a nice hike with an awe-inspiring view. One of the steepest climbs upstairs and Boardwalk, covered with shingles for traction, gave us a view. But what a view of Leading Tickle and surrounding harbors and islands. The Superior Glove Factory started in Ontario in 1910, making leather protective gear for workers. Includes a small museum showing their products, past and present. Technology advanced, and this factory in Point Leamington weaves over 3,500 different specialized gloves and sleeves. Their niche market includes gloves for SpaceX, cosmonauts, meatpacking plants, chainsaw gloves, and waterproof cryogenic tasks. The raw materials like nylon, Kevlar, basalt, yes, the volcanic rock, fiberglass, steel, and titanium arrive in bales as fuzzy cotton candy-like bundles and are spun into multiple content threads. Hey, want to see the factory? As Newfoundlanders would say, is a frog's arse watertight? Spinning machines convert the very fine fuzz into individual threads. Winding machines combine different thread materials such as lycra and colored poly thread through several separate winding steps, resulting in a final multi-stranded thread. Automatic knitting machines combine one or more types of threads and pop out finished gloves.
Oh yeah. For every 3 minutes.
We noticed signs at Glover's Harbor for the Thimble Tickle Giant Squid. 3 fishermen in November 1878 rowed towards a large object and, to quote, to their horror found themselves close to a huge fish, having large glassy eyes, which was making desperate attempts to escape, and churning the water into foam by the motions of its immense arms and tail. From the funnel at the back of its head, it was ejecting large volumes of water. At times, the water from the siphon was black as ink. They hooked a grapnel into the squid and towed it ashore. His struggles were terrific as he flung his 10 arms about. The fishermen took care to keep a respectful distance from the long tentacles, which darted about like great tongues. Knowing no better, they proceeded to convert the dead animal into meat for their sled dogs. What else would you do with a 2-ton cephalopod? On our way to Lewisporte for a Foodland shopping run, we made a quick stop at the train park, once part of a spur line connecting the Port aux Basques St. John's Main Railway This track carried both passengers and freight across Newfoundland. Though long abandoned in favor of modern roads, the park now offers a peaceful hike along the Salmon River, a quiet tribute to the island's transportation past. After stocking up at Foodland, we joined the locals for a refreshing 1.5-mile walk along Woolfrey's Pond Boardwalk. The weather was perfect, and the trail, well maintained and scenic, offered a gentle way to stay active and soak in the natural beauty. It's clear that Newfoundlanders take their wellness seriously, and we were happy to follow suit. Not far from Lewisporte, the Boyd's Cove Beothuk Interpretation Center deepened our understanding of the now extinct Beothuk people. Early colonists were fascinated by their striking red skin, not a natural pigment, but the result of crushed berries applied thickly to repel insects. It was a clever adaptation to the environment, and a poignant reminder of how little was truly understood about their culture. A 1-mile wooded trail led us to the archaeological dig site. The forest opened into uneven terrain, where low mounds marked the remains of Beothuk dwellings, teepee-like structures that once dotted this landscape. Quiet and contemplative, the site invites reflection on a people whose story is still being pieced together.